What's up, my YouTube family? This your girl Sandy with another video. Anyway, I went to bingo and the ladies and we got into this discussion about our first love. Since we so old, we figured, can we look back and think about our first love? Do we even remember them? And one of the ladies go, yeah, I still remember mine because I'm with them now. We just laughed because it was so funny. It was hilarious. And all the ladies, they looked back and everybody was sharing their stories of their first love, how it started and how it ended and how they felt all in between. And got around to my turn and he's like, okay, what about you? Who was your first love? Such. And I figured, it's such a good story, a true story, a real story, that I'd share it with you guys. And my first love, I was 15. I was a sophomore in high school and he was a junior. Yeah, sophomore and a junior. And my thing is, I was always good at reading, social studies, science. I was always good at those things, anything that had anything to do with reading. Math, on the other hand, I had a problem. And I was really having problems with algebra. I just couldn't get it. I just didn't understand. When did the ABCs come with the 1, 2, 3s? When did the alphabet and the math merge? So I'm like, I can't get it. And I wasn't really doing too well. I wasn't failing, but I wasn't doing well at all. I was like at a C minus to D average, where our requirement in our household and our family was, you have to get all C's. We don't want you to be a scholar. You don't have to get A's and B's. Maybe that's not meant for you, but you have to bring in a C, preferably a C plus, but you have to bring in C's. So that's a low requirement to today's standards, but that's what we had to do. And you wouldn't get the punishment and no clothes and can't go here and whatever you get for not bringing in a C to a C plus average. So, and I was doing very well, but that algebra kick I couldn't get. So mom decided I needed a tutor. I need to go and take a summer school class for tutoring. So I'm like, whatever, I gotta spend my whole summer in stupid summer school. And we didn't get a lot of privilege back in my mom. She didn't give us a lot of privilege. You're 15, you gotta wear your hair. You can't wear your hair down. You have to wear it in ponytail, 2 ponytails or 1. Can't wear hoop earrings. This is a whole bunch of rules. Anyway, which was cool. I didn't have a problem not abiding by the rules. I was pretty decent when it came to that. But anyway, I went to tutoring, and the person that was tutoring me, it was his summer job. They get the older students to tutor the younger students. He was a junior, I was a sophomore. But he was working a summer job at the school, and he was assigned to tutor me. And oh my God, his name was Daniel. And the thing about me is I liked boys, but I liked a certain kind of boy. And boys would try to talk to me in my sophomore year. They would try to talk to me, but it wouldn't be, I wasn't interested in the boys that tried to talk to me, because the boys that tried to talk to me were, to me, in my opinion, they were bad boys. And I didn't like bad boys. I didn't like boys that cursed or smoked reefer or I didn't like those kind of boys. They just were bad boys to me. I liked good boys. I liked boys that could answer a lot of questions. I liked smart boys. I really did. And I liked boys with glasses. That's the thing. That was a big thing for me. I liked boys with glasses and boys that could answer all my stupid questions and boys that could just tell me stuff and say these things and words and philosophy. So I liked boys like that. I didn't like the jock type boys, or the boys that had what you guys would call swag. And I didn't like that. You know, I liked a nerdy type boy. So anyway, I meet this boy. He goes to the school, and he's like president of the debate team, even though he's a junior. He's on the PA system all the time, making all the announcements. And what else did he do? What else did he do? Something else that he did. Oh man, I love this boy. I love this boy. And he was tutoring me in algebra. And we did not get along at first. We didn't get along for the first like week and a half, 2 weeks. We didn't get along because he just had this perception of me that I was just this girl who has a lot of boyfriends, and I didn't have no boyfriend. So anyway, he was like, just think about algebra as you would boys, and he started doing the numbers, and I says, well, I can't, because I don't have boys like that, boyfriends like that. He was like, oh, really? Well, I thought you went with so-and-so and so-and-so. And I'm like, no, that boy just go around saying stuff like that. He's lying. I don't go with him. And then we, kitty shit like that. And he was like, well, what kind of boyfriend, what kind of, boys do you like if you had a boyfriend? And I told him I like the smart kind of guys. And then I said, guys like you. And he was like, I saw the biggest smile and blush on that boy's face, and I just smiled and blushed. And then he asked me to go to the mall with him, and then to the movies. We went to the beach. We always took long walks, and we talked and talked and talked for hours. Algebra became easy, and it was just funny because I would sit at his mom and his dad's, and they would let us watch TV while they watch us watch television. But we'd sit there and we'd watch television, some shows, and it was fine. I'd race home from summer school because I know my mom would always have something for me to do, whether it's fold some clothes or cut some vegetables. Man, I became a gourmet chef at cutting vegetables. I try to cut them vegetables so fast and so good and so neat so I can get the heck out of there, because I knew that Daniel was coming at a certain amount of time and I wanted to be ready. And we had a good summer. So at the end of the summer, I'm like, are you gonna not be around me, because you'll be a senior and I'll be a junior, and seniors really don't, date juniors like that. Seniors date seniors. And he was like, no, I'm gonna be with you. As a matter of fact, I want you to be my girlfriend. And he bought me a nice chain. I think I told you that already, but he bought me a ring too. And I was like, whoa. He bought me an album. He just was so nice to me, so good to me, so kind to me. And we care for each other. That's the whole bottom line. It was wonderful. We talk on the phone for hours. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So he made me his girlfriend, and I was happy. And it was my senior year. My mom had this thing where if you're 16, then you could take your hair down, you can go get it pressed, and you can get your eyebrows arched at the time. And so I turned 16. It was my junior year, and he was in his senior year. So when I came back to school, of course, you get new clothes, and I had my hair down and pressed, and my eyebrows was arched, so I looked like a teenager, a nice looking teenager. And all the boys was like, whoa, but it didn't matter to me, because I was with Daniel, so it did not matter to me. I loved that boy, and he loved me. Anyway, so this one guy a really, really awful gang banging person, because gangs had just started flaring up. I didn't know anything about them until my junior year. But this is a gang banging boy, and he was in my geometry. What's the next step? And he was in my geometry class, and oh my God, he goes, okay, anyway, and he was in my, something distracted me, but he was in my geometry class, and this stupid boy, he was so mean. He goes, I want you to be my girlfriend. And I'm like, no, I have a boyfriend already. You ain't got no boyfriend. I don't never see you with nobody. I said, well, I do have a boyfriend. And he said, who's your boyfriend? And I said, Daniel, that's my boyfriend. And he said, that sissy that be on the PA system? And I said, yes, that's my boyfriend. And he was like, you go out with that Mark, is what he called him. You go out with that Mark? You go out with that Mark? And I'm like, yes, and he is not a Mark, but yes. So that was that. And we went, Daniel and I, we would go to the library to study, because he was studying for his SATs and things like that, and he was making me study for mine. And we would go there and we would study. And we went to the library, and then when we came out of the library, it was that boy, Rodney, and two other boys were with him, and they just started jumping. They just jumped him. And I'm trying to swing, screaming, hollering. Rodney, the boy, he kind of held me, and I couldn't do anything. And they just jumped him and was hitting him, kicking him and stumping him, and stumping him and stumping him. And they just ran off. And I went over there, but he was up. He was conscious, but he just couldn't get up. And I couldn't lift him up, and he couldn't get up. So I ran back into the library, and I told the people my boyfriend just got jumped. And they came out, and everybody kind of got him up. And the librarian called his dad. His dad came and picked us up, and he dropped me off at home. And his dad took him. He just took him. So I'm screaming, and I'm telling my mom what happened. And I'm telling her, please call and see what happened. So she calls. They say they're on their way to the hospital. So they took him to the hospital, and I guess he got a few stitches or whatever. But I called, and his mom said that he was asleep, and he didn't want to talk, and call him tomorrow. So I went to school. He wasn't there. So I figured, of course, he went to the hospital. He's not going to be here. So I decided to go to Walgreens and get a card. So I walked all the way over to his house with the card. And when I got there, his mom said that he didn't want to see me. He just didn't. So I'm like, okay. And I went home, and I was crying and telling my mother he didn't want to see me. And my mother was like, it'll be okay. Just give him a chance to heal and get his thoughts together, and he'll see you. So I called, and no answer. I called all day, no answer. It was either busy, because there was no such thing as call waiting at that time. So it was either busy or no answer. So I'm like, okay, I'm crying and calling and crying and calling, and no answer. So the next day when I went to school, he wasn't there, and I have to sit in geometry class, and this Rodney, he knew what he did. And back in those days, my mama told, we didn't call the police. Nobody called the police. Nobody said anything. You just kind of lick your wounds. And my mom was like, be grateful, that nothing happened to me. She was more concerned about me than him. So I'm like, this is really messed up. But it turns out he transferred to a whole nother school. I cried my whole junior year. I spent my whole junior year flooding my bed with tears. I mean, my sister was so tired of, she was so tired of listen to me cry and listen to Luther Vandross over and over and over again. The same song, the same Prince song over and over and over again. How come you don't call me anymore? How come you don't call me? I played it over and over. You know, once my senior year came, my mother said, you're not fit to do this. She said, you're not finna do this. And I'm not finna listen to that screeching man this year. She gave me some shaking, like, get out of it, girl. But we made plans, me and Daniel. We was gonna get married and have 8 sons. He said he wanted 8 boys. That's puppy love for you, though. But just thought I'd share with you so you guys could know a little bit about me. But anyway, till the next time, please do like, share, subscribe, and toodles. Leave a comment, too. Toodles.